Hey guys, what's up? So this is it. This is the last video in the Discovering Primal Origins series, and it is obviously the deck profile of the deck that I've been using for this past week, which is Photon Galaxies. Now, I'm going to try and stay away from like overly justifying, or not overly justifying, but trying to stay away from just like repeating the same thing over and over, because I find myself talking way too much about like the Photon engine when I talk about this deck. So I'll try and stay away from that, and this should probably be a little bit closer, but yeah, I do run Photon Galaxy just because the level 4s in this deck give access to basically half the extra deck. 2, 4, 6, 7, so yeah, exactly half, because as you can see I only have 14 because this was in there, but yeah, I don't know why. I just probably saw level rank 8 and like, oh, it's 4500 attack and can negate effects, let's put it in there. I didn't really pay attention to the dark monster requirement. Alright, so getting into the deck, we have one Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, two Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, sorry about that. But it's weird, like some people run them at 3, but I just find 3 to be way too cloggy. At 2, you know, you do have the problem where you might draw into one, or you know, if you're unlucky enough to draw into both, but you can kind of circumvent that problem with Soldier and Cloud Dragon since they are cards now, and or I think they're coming out in the OCG at least. I don't know about TCG. I know the list is out, but I haven't really looked at it. But yeah, so you never really want to draw into this guy, and it's just 3 I really do think is overkill, and 1 definitely is not enough, so 2 just kind of fits nicely. Then we have 2 Galaxy Knights, we have 2 Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragons, so 2 Knights seems good enough. Again, 1 doesn't really seem to do the deck justice, and 3, well, there's really no reason to run 3 if you're only running 2 Photon Dragons. Next up, 3 Galaxy Soldiers. This is a new card coming out of Primal Origin. It just makes the deck a lot more versatile, a lot more viable, and it gives it a pretty decent rank 5 option. Now, in Pure Galaxies, I know they run more rank 5s than, you know, we do here. We only run Pleiades and Tiras, but, you know, in other decks, other builds, you know, there's Volcasaurus, I can't really name any off the top of my head, but I know there are a decent amount of rank 5s because it is seen as like a rank 5 and rank 8 deck, so that's something to keep in mind. If you do decide to go the whole Galaxy deck, which give Photon a chance, that's all I'm saying, you know, you do run more rank 4s and rank 5s, so it's definitely more, the extra deck is definitely like tighter in this build, so that's why I only run 2 rank 5s. But also, Galaxy Soldier deals with the whole drawing into Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon problem, which I mentioned earlier, and also gets a search off. So a really simple and basic combo in this deck is, if you have Soldier and Galaxy Eyes in your hand, you can pitch Galaxy Eyes to summon Soldier, which will search out Galaxy Knight, and now since you have a Galaxy monster on the field, you can normal summon Knight without any tributes, and then he will grab Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, and then you have a rank 8 play right there. Okay, so it's not the best play, but it is a relatively decent play, and if your opponent doesn't have anything to answer it, they're going to be fighting an uphill battle from the get-go. Next up, 3 Thrasher. Again, I really do enjoy the Photon engine in this, mostly because of this dude. Radiant Light, Emperor Galaxion, or Star Liege Lord, whatever his name is. I just like that card. I like having the option to go into light XYZ monsters because some of them are actually really, really good. Like you have Omega, Paladynamo, and now this guy Galaxion, and having this little, you know, mini engine, I guess, it's pretty good. I think it adds something to the deck. I know some people, actually a lot of people disagree with that, but it's my personal choice, and I just like it in the deck. And also, it's a 2100 beater. It's not a bad card. It's searchable with Rhoda, which we'll get to later on. And yeah, next up, 2 Crusher. Again, just here to help, you know, have like, or here to have synergy with, if that makes any sense. It works with Thrasher is what I'm trying to say. Its 2000 attack isn't bad, but then of course it is going to be flipped into, or not flipped into, but it's going to be put in defense position after it attacks, so that's kind of eh. But yeah, its main purpose here is just to work with Thrasher and go into rank 4s. Next up, 1 Honest. It's a light deck, don't really need to explain. Next up, 3 Galaxy Wizard. This guy is really huge in this deck. When he gets onto the field, you can either tribute him to search out something like Expedition, or it's Galaxy card, right? Yeah, Galaxy card, so you can search any of these guys, search Expedition, search, no, that's Tachyon, alright. Sorry about that, but yeah, you can search a lot. You can also search the Baby Dragon, and that effect is good enough on its own, but it also changes levels, which means, you know, if you have a level 8 on the field already, you have a rank 8 play right there. If you have Expedition in your hand, you have a rank 8 play right there, so it is pretty good. And also with Expedition, it doesn't necessarily have to be Does it have to be a rank 8 play? Yeah, sorry about that, but it more or less will always be, because you know, you can grab Wizard to make level 8, and then you can Expedition into, like, let's say Soldier, and if you have another one in your hand, I guess you can pitch another Soldier, or you can search another Soldier off of the first Soldier you summon, if that makes any sense. So it definitely is versatile, and it's, you know, a key part of this deck. Next to card. Cloud Dragon, again, it's just here for Galaxy Eyes. It special summons it from the hand or graveyard by attributing this guy. And also, if you have a Galaxy Eyes XYZ on the field, you can just equip it as a material, which is also nice. Now getting to the spells, we have 1 Rhoda, again searches Thrasher and Crusher. 3 Axolite. This is a card that I want to talk about because a lot of people usually run it at like 1 or really 0 because they say it's a bad card. Now it does have its restrictions, which definitely suck. Or they definitely suck, yeah. But it comes in clutch. Like, you can summon a wizard, which will get its effect off to either become big enough to get your expedition, or you can search the expedition or search your soldier and set up for next turn. Or you can just grab your baby dragon or your cloud dragon and then summon the photon dragon out of your hand or the graveyard, and that's pretty good just to get a 3000 beater like that. Like, I understand, like, okay, you can't use it if you have monsters on the field and you can't normal summon for the rest of the turn, but it's still a good card in my opinion. 3 might be a little bit much, but I can definitely say that I've resolved 2 in a game, and that has definitely like won me that game, or that had definitely won me that game. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little out of it. So 2, I think you should definitely run 2. People are gonna disagree. That's fine. Everyone has their own opinion. I like 3 just because I like to see the card. Like, if I don't have a field and I don't have a play, this becomes my play for either that turn or for next turn, and I don't see anything wrong with that. Expedition, again, it's how you special summon these guys out of your deck, and it's just a solid card. 2 MSTs, because, you know, obviously why not. 1 Book of Moon, because why not. And 1 Galaxy Zero. Now, this is basically the deck's Monster Reborn, but it is really restricted. Like, a lot of people say this is a good card, but I disagree with that, just because you can't attack, and you can't activate any effects, or you can't activate the monster you bring back. You can't activate its effect. So let's say you bring back Soldier. You can't do anything with it. Let's say you bring back Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. You can't do anything with it. Like I mentioned earlier, how it's really good at like avoiding traps and dodging traps. You can't do that. You can't bring back Wizard and get its effect off. So it's really restrictive. I just have it because, like, let's say I have let's say I have a Knight in hand, and just getting a Galaxy monster onto the field will allow me to summon Knight and get an effect off and go into an XYZ play. That's the only reason it's in the deck. And I don't really feel like you should be running that many of it. I just don't personally like it, but hey, it's, you know, if you want to run more, that's up to you, and definitely test it out. I'll say that. Now for the traps, we have 1 Bottomless, 1 Torrential, 1 Compulse, 2 Phoenix Chains, and 1 Solemn Warning. The reason I skipped these is because I want to talk about them, but yeah, the traps are pretty much solid, stable, really, so it's whatever. Call the Hunter is really good in this deck because it is an OTK enabler, because you do have big monsters in your grave just waiting to come back, and also Galaxy Eyes can like detach himself from Call the Haunted, which is more valuable than it sounds, because let's say your opponent MSTs it later on, it's, you know, it's just there. Like, they can't do anything to Galaxy Eyes by MSTing this or destroying this, which is, again, more important than it might sound, and more important than I might make it sound, if that makes any sense. Like, it is really good, and again, it is an OTK enabler. And also, it's a better Galaxy Zero, a little bit slower, you know, I'll give it that, but it is better because they do get their effects off. So, you know, let's say you summon Soldier off the effect, you get to search with Soldier's effect. Also, if you have a Baby Dragon, Cloud Dragon in your graveyard, you can bring one of these guys back, the Galaxy Eyes XYZ, and then just equip Baby Dragon to him. So it's, again, I really do like it in the deck. I don't run it at 3 because 3 is a little overkill, I guess. And then 2 Tachyon Transmigrations, it's basically the Solemn Judgment of the deck, but it doesn't destroy the cards, it just sends it back to the deck. But it sends all the cards before it that are in that chain back to the deck. It's good, I like it. The only restriction, I guess I'll say, is that you need a Galaxy Eyes monster on the field. We do have, you know, 4 of them. And if you have this guy, if you have Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon, you can activate it from your hand, so that's, you know, nice. Next up to the extra deck, we have 1 Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon, 1 Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon, 1 Heradic Sun Dragon Overlord of Heliopolis, 2 Felgran, 1 Tyrus, 1 Pleiades, 1 Ragnar Zero, 1 Omega, 1 Pappy, 1 Silent Honor Arc, 2 Galaxion, and 1 Paladynamo. Now, there isn't really much to explain. They're all really good cards for what they do. The only thing, actually, no, I'm not really gonna explain it. Like, Actually, yeah, I will. Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon, you can negate all monster effects, all face-up monster effects on the field during each player's battle step, or battle phase. No, at the start of your battle phase, okay. So, you know, let's say your opponent has a monster on the field that can't be destroyed by battle or whatever. You can activate this, negate that, so now it can't be destroyed by battle, obviously. And also it has the effect where if your opponent activates an effect and it resolves during the battle phase, you gain another attack, and this card gains 1,000 for each effect that resolves. Now it gains 1,000 for each effect that resolves, but it only gains 1 extra attack, period. So it's not like you can keep gathering more and more attacks. And then you have the new guy coming out, just a huge beater. But make sure you always have a Galaxy Eyes equipped to it, because that's how you do the most damage. If it doesn't have Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon equipped, is it Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon? I'll just say it is. If you don't have a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon equipped, then you do half the damage you would have. So make sure you have it equipped at all times. And also, if this card gets destroyed while it has Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon equipped, it comes back at 8,000 2 standby phases after, or 2 of your standby phases later. So it is just a good card. Anyway, guys, that's it. That's been the deck profile. That's been the series. It's kind of bittersweet because I actually did enjoy the series for the most part. There were some decks and there were some just times I didn't feel like playing, but you know, it's over now, and I don't really know how I feel about that. Like, it feels good that I can go back to like a different schedule, I guess. Like, I'm not holding myself to trying to upload once a day, but I don't know. Hopefully, like, I wouldn't mind doing a marathoning series later down the road, and I think I will, but it's just going to be different. Like, it won't be 6 straight weeks. It might be 6 weeks, or it might be, you know, X amount of weeks, but they're not going to be consecutive, I don't think. But then I don't really know if that's considered a marathon series. But I will definitely do these types of videos again, where like I'll play a deck for a week and then like do a deck profile at the end, much like this. Because again, I did find this idea fun. The execution probably could have been better, and obviously school had a lot to do with that, and just having other things to do definitely like messed up some of my schedule, I guess. So that hopefully won't, well, hopefully it will be an issue down the road, but you know what I mean. Hopefully I can figure out how to get these series like this out to you guys without having other, you know, arrangements. So yeah, that's been the series. I will talk to you guys eventually. That'll make more sense after, well, I'm recording this on Saturday, but this is probably going to go up Sunday. So that will make sense after the later video in the day, or the video later in the day. But yeah, talk to you guys eventually, sometime soon, maybe. But yeah, later guys.